Good morning, everybody. Welcome. I wasn't even close to the mic. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Investing Bros, the most generous crypto YouTube channel out there. We got a show lined up for you guys that is going to be fantastic, but it will be a little different because we have got a boatload of news to get through today. So the TA section, we're still going to do it, but it's going to be a little bit smaller so we can cover a lot more stories today. And guess what? In case you guys have not checked on any charts or any news sites, this morning is a doozy. Bitcoin and Ethereum are down. As the title suggests, they both broke some critical support. We're going to discuss that and a lot more because there is some support still holding up. However, there are levels that we did not think were going to be broken that have been broken. What does that mean for the price action now? On the other hand, though, some other altcoins seemed to rally last night. So what does that mean for the whole crypto space? We also got some more news coming out from Jamie Dimon about what bank crashes could look like in the future. We're going to talk about that and a lot more. And the other story that I think is absolutely huge. Elon Musk is hiring a new CEO. That's not the problem. The question is, who the heck is she and what is her history? And will we see Twitter continue to be a place for free speech, or will we return to that censorship that we had not too long ago? Make sure you do not go anywhere. Smash that like button and hit subscribe if you love crypto, if you love making money, if you love good absolute crypto channels. Go ahead and smash that like button and you have found the right place. I'm joined by two fantastic co-hosts, starting off with the Florida man himself, Mr. T Shroom. How are you doing this morning, my friend?
Oh, wow. Tim, I'm doing better than I deserve, man. I really am. I'm proud of the Investing Bros on ATB. I'm not going to take the glory. I'll let Piper celebrate here in just a second. But guys, get ready to get excited when Tim introduces Piper because he had a big positive event yesterday. Well, let's go ahead and get to the quote of the day here. It's from Warren Buffett. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. That's Warren Buffett, and that's truth.
It is truth. That was a good little transition there, T-Shirt. Thank you so much. And as he mentioned, we're going to introduce the Texas man, crypto bro, and most recent champion on Around the Blockchain. That is the Mr. Army Piper. How are you doing this morning, Piper? Oh, there we go.
I'm feeling like a winner, Tim.
Come on.
Very nice.
Yes. I was on Around the Blockchain yesterday. It was an honor and a privilege, and it was glory in its finest to be another investing bro who brought home the win. So it was awesome. DZ and the whole gang over there, Lifer, Feroz, they were all just fantastic people to be on there with. And then I followed it up with going on to a Twitter space with Kelly Kellum and Crypto Vet, and that was pretty cool too. So got to drop some knowledge over there on Bitcoin because while I love ETH, I do have a lot of knowledge about Bitcoin too. I'm not an ETH maxi when it comes to knowledge and wisdom. So
very cool.
I'm updating. Go to my screen real quick here. I'm upgrading my Twitter bio, which, come on now, don't mess with me like this. My new bio is going to have the least successful bro on Around the Blockchain. I'm very happy for our community, but it's getting embarrassing on my end, guys. We're hitting save on this one. Boom. There we go. Now you guys see it. My Twitter page. Least successful bro on Around the Blockchain. I don't know what I'm doing wrong necessarily. I'm gonna have to get coached up by these two fine gentlemen that just don't miss. I don't know. Even T Shroom's one loss comes with a little bit of speculation of like, hey, should he have won? Should he not have won? We're gonna be teaching a class here very soon. So
Tim, it's because you're not military trained. That's why.
It's probably it. Probably it. Well, let's go ahead and go over here. We got some names to read this morning before we jump into some juicy content. Starting off, though, with our first two, and I think I remember them. Even though I covered it up with the poll, I think that the first commenter of the day was 88 Ace. So congratulations to you. And right behind him was Philly Skills 1428. Congratulations to the first two. I don't think either one of you guys have been in the top two just yet. So we're seeing new first commenters every single day. That is awesome. It's such a great. By the way, I'm going to back up. We're talking about community here. as much as I love everything that I see from my other two co-hosts winning around the blockchain, how about that Investing Bros community in that chat last night, and then over in our Discord just going absolutely nuts? I don't even think it's a close debate anymore. This is absolutely the best community in all of crypto. You guys are the best. Let's read some of your names, though. You guys are showing up in numbers this morning. We got Spee here as well. Crypto Trades is here. If you guys don't hang out with Crypto Trades on a regular basis, you're missing out on life. That's a cool dude right there. Bob is here as well. Who else we have? Crypto Pew Pew Cruise. You'll love to see it. A Mellow Fellow is here. Justin Eubanks, Crypto JMP, Ninja Glock, OBC, Rick Wilson, Average Crypto Joe, Crux of Crypto with the Blue Wrench is here. Another great individual, just an absolute stellar of a man. Who else we have? Eric Wallen is here, which, by the way, Eric Wallen gets 50 points. I already put this in chat, but made a very good call about some TA. We'll talk about that a little bit later if you guys missed it, but I do want you guys to know Eric Wallen absolutely is killing it in the TA game as well. Who else do we have here? JoJo is here. Let's see. Couple more names and we'll jump into our content. Mike Play is here. Kumar Raj, T.A. Hanks 4. Love to see it. Steve Shrum, Mr. Papa Shrum is in the house. Grand Roofing Incorporated. Papa Shrum. Ebb and Flow Crypto. Marique Franick. Mike Lowry. Mark Gautier. Mike Goddard, or Mark Goddard is what he's saying. Mark Gaudier, I think. I don't know. Joe Nickel is here. Gregory Greziak. Love to see him here. Crimson Caravan Company. Joe Nickel. And let's go 3 more names and we're going to jump in. Elliot Locke, number 1. Love seeing you here, Elliot. Brooklyn State of Mind. And the last name of the day, Coin Operator. Guys, I think I actually might have just read all of the names. So that is it. But if I did not read your name for one reason or another, it does not mean I don't love you. It just means it is time to jump in with this juicy content. But now it's time for Piper.
Hold on. I because of the dad in me, the dad jokes here. Rick Wilson needs a shout out for T-Shroom needs to fit in some ATB training for Tim if he has mushroom.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh,
very nice.
Love the dad joke. Back to you, Tim.
Very nice.
Well, it's back to me just to throw it back to you, Piper, because we have some economic outlooks we need to take a look at, and that is your department. So what are you seeing for us this morning?
All right, Tim, taking a look here. So we have a quiet day today. It really on the macroeconomic side. Got a couple of speeches coming in, but like I said, these aren't major speeches. These are just routine things. So Michigan consumer sentiment preliminary is the big one that's on here, but that's going to give the sentiment of how American consumers are feeling about the economy. That's kind of big, but nothing like we normally get. So the big thing I want to point out though, guys, next week, we don't have much going on. I know it looks like a lot, but none of these are major things next week. So next week should be pretty decent. There's a Fed Chair Powell speech next week, but I'm not sure. He does these a lot, and sometimes they're just about the banking industry and stuff, not about the economy. So I will be watching to see next Friday and what this does. And since we're not going to be, I'm not going to be on the show, I will drop some stuff into Twitter. If you don't follow me, you should. Links are below. But yeah, I'll drop some stuff on there that I see next week, but not anything big next week. I think we have a calm week, and a calm week tends to lend a little bit of support over to the markets getting a little time to flip around. I will point out that the true inflation data is now down to 3.59%, so dropping almost 0.2% in the past day. So that's pretty good. I think we're heading in the right directions right now, Tim.
Yeah, it looks like we are. Real quick, before I jump into some other data here, I guess I did miss a couple of names, and there might be more I missed, but Crypto Set Guy and I are trying to become friends again, especially since I'm going to see him next week in Miami. He said I don't love him. I do love you. And since I'm going to read your name, I also got to read Josh Denham's name. Raining Blood 909 and King D. Crypto and Cowboy as well. So I now I might have gotten everyone's name. You know what? I missed probably the most important name of them all. Taylor Warren, the greatest name.
Wow.
I don't know how I missed that name, but shout out to everybody else.
Good call, Tim.
I'll clarify again. If for some reason I missed your name, It has nothing to do with the fact that I don't love you. It has to do with I'm terrible at scrolling on names, I guess. And we got to get into some of this content. Let's take a look, Piper, over at the Fed rate tool right now. Let me refresh this because these thing changes like the wind. There we go. Yeah, I had it at 87%. Now it's sitting at 85%. That we're going to pause, but we are picking up some traction since yesterday. That maybe there's an outside chance that they're going to raise it by 25 basis points. Once again, not likely. I just don't see anything especially when you're looking at news. Everything's actually pointing in the opposite direction. But who knows? That's your outlook for the next FOMC meeting coming your way in about 33 days. Let's check over on the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, ticking lower down to 49. And out of curiosity, let's look here. I do believe here this is the lowest we've seen the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index all the way since back here on March 13th. So it's been quite a while since we broke below 50 on the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. Let's see when this last happened. The last time we had a 49 on March 13th. Let's take a look at what Bitcoin's price was looking like March 13th. Oh, look at that. It's going to be right back here. Even at the very peak, the price was 24,730. So I'll go ahead and say, guys, even though, you like to see it more in the fear side, I'm going to go ahead and give this a bullish run here for Bitcoin, despite the fact that we're back down to 49 on the Fear and Greed Index. We're sitting at a higher price level. That is a bullish move right there. Speaking of bullish moves, we're also seeing the Bitcoin average transaction fee continue to drop down today to $9.70. That is a good sign, not necessarily for the miners, but for anyone who is trying to move around some Bitcoin. It's not quite as expensive. Ethereum continues to slightly tick up, though, back up to 113 Gwei. And speaking of Ethereum, we'll talk more about that here in just a little bit because it had a problem when it shut down yesterday for about 25 minutes. Is that serious? Should you be worried, or was it just something that happened? Let's go ahead and do some very quick TA. We told you guys in the intro, and we talked about it when we were planning the thing this morning. We're not going to go crazy into TA here, guys, because there's a lot of stories to cover. We'll kind of be a light TA day, light stock market day. But let's start off with some good and some bad. I'm going to go ahead and take down my SMA because we're starting to give away some of the good stuff. Let's start with the bad here, guys. When we say, and you're looking at that title, that Bitcoin broke critical support, that support level we're talking about is this red line right here at 26,544. You guys are going to see that not only was this the wick we had back on March 14th, that we rejected at before finally breaking through. It was the lowest we have actually seen Bitcoin's price since all the way back here on the 17th of March. We had one wick come down to it on the 27th of March, but of course we began to move to the upside. So breaking that was kind of a big deal. That was some critical support. I know I told you guys that was kind of my level to say, hey, if we can hold this level, I'm still looking at a potential move upwards towards $50,000 is still in the cards. Now that this has happened, guys, 26.5, don't be surprised if we either hold where we are currently or fall to 25.2, coming down to the daily dynamic reactor. However, I don't need my oscillators right now. However, even if that happens, now my range is shifted down to 36,000 is more realistically a top. Maybe we get a little bit of a break to 42. I will be very surprised at this point if 50K still is in the cards for 2023. Let's take a look at our other levels we've broken here. Yesterday, we broke through the value area low, so that's another sign of some negativity. We're closing some candles below it as well. If I were to go over here to the 4-hour chart, it's not just one or two. We have multiple candles closed below. So this is what we're talking about. When we say Bitcoin has broken critical support, that is exactly what we're saying. Now, some things to keep your eye on this morning. Another bearish thing. Now that we've broken through this red line, this 26,500, even though we're kind of up this morning, we're sitting at 26.4 after touching all the way down to 26,128. I'm not going to be surprised, guys, to see us come back up and just reject off this line. Breaking back up above it would be a bullish thing, but I don't think that the blood necessarily is over. But if there was going to be some blood that was over, let's start off on the weekly chart. And this is what I'm talking about, where the 50 points for Eric Wallen come in because he made a phenomenal call here. We are touching and kissing the 200 the 200 weekly SMA. This could be a massive sign of support. We're also finding support on the daily 100. So keep your eyes fixed on this. I'm still watching on this daily chart. I think it could be interesting to see if the dynamic reactor continues to climb to the upside and we find some support on that 25.2 as well. But there is an outside chance between these two moving averages that we could be finding support. When we pull up our oscillators, let's take a quick look at what's happening there. We're still sitting pretty high. There's room to the downside, but we have crossed into the red even on the clouds here on the weekly chart. Down on the daily chart, we're getting very, very low. And we could be seeing potentially the RSI. If we keep dropping down here, don't be surprised to see the RSI and this ribbon drop below and set up some bullish divergence. When we get a little lower, let's take a look real quickly here. The 4-hour has just been flashing oversold here for a while. So this is going to be really important. Can we continue to hold this, or will this be a bearish trend where we ignore all of our oversold indicators? You hate seeing this if you're a Bitcoin bull. Another thing you hate seeing, let's go take a look at what is happening over on the Dixie, where we have pretty confidently broken through the resistance level of a long time. I've talked about this here for a while, guys. We've been, ever since the high here for the Dixie that we had back in September, we had this strong level of resistance we continue to respect. Well, guess what? We have broken through. So now it's not so much about the falling level of resistance. It's now more about the flat levels of resistance. And there's two spots I'm going to be looking at. First of all, that 0.5 on the Fibonacci from the long time frame. It took a lot to get back below it. So is this just a return to the 0.5 to turn it into resistance? Or even do we come back up to this wick around 101.98? Everything in the news is saying, guys, that the Dixie should be in trouble, that the value of the dollar should be going to the downside, but the charts are climbing. However, notice this, we got a lot of overbought, a lot of oversold. We're not necessarily setting new highs just yet. So until I see new highs being set, these overbought flashes still ring very true. I still believe that we're going to see the Dixie reverse, the Bitcoin and Ethereum go up. However, it is alarming seeing resistance be broken for Dixie, support be broken for Bitcoin. If I scroll back up here, so something definitely you want to keep your eyes on. Really quickly, the last thing I'm going to do before I throw it over to Piper, checking in on our ADA. You guys know we've been talking about it. Very weird to see ADA bounce and Bitcoin and Ethereum fall, but guess what? It did just that, and we knew this. That if you guys have been watching Investing Bros, we've been talking about this falling wedge pattern for Cardano, mixed with, even though I don't have it up here, we had our golden pocket sitting right down here between 36 cents and 35 cents. So the question is, can we break through? There's two things I'm looking at here. I think we can. The 4-hour chart is low, but we are approaching the zero once again, which can be a level of resistance or support. It's the hourly chart where, again, we're going to need to break it, but we're getting some bearish flashes here, some bearish divergence. The red reversal triangle is coming in. Our dynamic reactor on the hourly chart is sitting right above us. So if the Cardano bulls want to mount a rally and potentially get back up towards 42 cents, they got some resistance sitting right above us. We need the momentum to continue and for the price to break through. With that said, Piper, really quickly, what is happening on Ethereum? And then we'll jump into some juicy news.
And we have a lot of news today, man. Let me tell you. So, yeah, looking at Ethereum here on the 4-hour right now, guys, you can see that we have broken out of our trading bands of our predictive ranges here. And we're on the way down right now to the lower support line, coming in at approximately 1,700, about $1,700. Now, what I do want to show you is I think we're going to go a little bit lower than that. And here's why. If I go ahead and throw on the mid fibs, you can see here that we got at 1695 is the 0.65 line here, 0.66, depending on which one you use. But that's what we're looking at for the golden pocket here, guys. We are working our way down to there. And I did say yesterday that I thought that we were going to have downside headed towards that. If we go ahead and throw on, I got a couple of other ones here to show you the daily chart, and I turn on our market oracle, you can see that our dynamic reactor is going to be coming right in line with that golden pocket, and that's why I believe that we're going to be heading down to that level there, finding support there against the confluence of the golden pocket and that dynamic reactor. That's very powerful confluence. The oscillator, which I pointed out yesterday to you guys, is still continuing to tighten. I told you that we very likely would see this continue down, which would bring this down into our bullish zone. That's what this dash green line is down here. And when that happens, if this cloud is still tight and we hit this, that's where I think we're going to see the turnaround coming in the next 7 days, guys. That's what I'm looking at there. And 1,700 is where I'm looking at getting the entry into an ETH long. Still holding and waiting for that. One last thing I want to show you right here. If I go ahead and pull this up, this is going to be our fixed range volume profile. Let's get it in there. Let's go ahead and blow just this chart up here, and there we go. So if I turn off some things here to clean this out, there we go. You can see that we broke the value area high. That value area high coming in at $1,784. We don't have anything until you get down here on the fixed range volume profile. That is the point of control, and it is $1,200, guys. If you look at where a majority of all volume took place, you can see that a lot of people bought in that $1,200 range there, which is odd because it's not a whole lot of price action here. It's this section here and this section, actually two sections here, and that's it. But all of the volume money came in at this point. So that's what we're looking at for a value area high or for point of control in the fixed range volume profile. Lastly, I will point out that unlike Bitcoin testing its 200-week moving average, this light blue line on mine right here is the 200-week moving average that we have for Ethereum right now, and it's coming in at about $1,500. So if you don't see that confluence support come in on the dynamic reactor and that golden pocket hold, I would be looking for that 50 probably coming in line with that 200-week moving average for the next level of confluence that is going to be right there at about 1550. So guys, if 1700 doesn't hold, 1550 is the next range that I'm looking for there on Ethereum. Cross your fingers, hold on tight. I think we've got a big ride coming up. So back to you, Tim.
Boom. Yeah. So, like we said, I think Piper put it there perfectly. There's still a good chance, everybody, that we have a little bit more to go. You guys know yesterday's video we talked about the Bitcoin FUD is not quite over, and today, with some of those critical levels of support being broken, yes, there are others kind of lining up. We didn't talk about everything we could have. We'll talk more next week. I won't be here Monday, but I will be there on Tuesday. We'll talk more next week and keep you guys posted. But there is so much news happening that we are going to jump into some news early. We might even shorten up the stock market section here a little bit later in the show because we want to heavily discuss. Some of this news is a lot of FUD. Some of this is opinion piece, but there are some serious things that need discussion so that we make sure we keep our eyes focused on the prize and know how to invest wisely the rest of this year. So, T. Shroom, let's go ahead and start off. What is the number one story we're going to start with today? And we'll dive right into the news.
It's a good question, Tim. All right, well, we're going to start over here with the Ethereum story. Big breath as the beacon chain stops finalizing and then recovers. So let's get into a little bit of the details. You may have seen headlines scrolling through Twitter. You may still not really fully understand. This is what happened. The Ethereum mainnet briefly stopped finalizing transactions, but recovered after 25 minutes. So it was not business as usual, but it was not quite a Solana full-on failure, right? So let's go ahead and read a little bit more into this. Around 8:15 UTC on May 11th, a number of Ethereum core developers announced that the Beacon chain was having issues confirming transactions. New blocks were able to be processed, but an unknown issue was preventing them from being finalized. A member of the Ethereum dev team here, superfizz.eth, said the beacon chain stopped finalizing about 30 minutes ago. I don't know why yet, but in general, the chain is designed to be resilient against this. Transactions will continue as usual, and finalization will kick in when the problem is resolved. So as you can see, this is very, very important. This is, could potentially have been a lot worse, I would say, just kind of reading through Twitter and kind of seeing the reactions. This could have been a lot worse. Here's some more details, and then I want to throw it over to Piper because he's our resident near Ethereum maxi. But let me read this last little bit here. Following the incident, pseudonymous Ethereum consultant Superfizz noted that client diversity was one of the main reasons that the loss of finality finality was so short-lived. However, he also pointed out that the loss of finality could have been avoided altogether if no client had been more than 33% control. So, Piper, I want to throw it over to you as a heavy investor into Ethereum, a leveraged investor into Ethereum. What is your thoughts about this? Are you fearful? Have you seen enough to stay invested? And for the audience, should they get out? Should they stay in? What are your thoughts?
So while this is bad, I will point out that when Ethereum has a network issue, when Solana has a network issue or any of these other layer ones, their price crashes. It's a hard crash.
Hmm.
Ethereum only dropped like 0.2% more than Bitcoin did yesterday. That is resiliency. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm not afraid for my portfolio at all.
Mm,
I still think that Ethereum is the king of layer ones, and um, this all this did was show that they can have issues, which you're going to have. Networks always have issues. I don't care who you are. Google's had issues, but it was fixed in a very short time period. It wasn't days; it was 25 minutes, and the price held up very strong. So um, had it dropped, had it been a disaster, yeah, I absolutely would think that this would be something to call to attention. But the fact
mhm.
that they had an issue, it didn't drop like crazy, and it held its price, and it was fixed quickly, gives me some more conviction into my Ethereum. So
All right, Tim, you mostly agree with that, or you think that
Yeah.
Piper's trying to kind of downplay this so that his bags can stay on the uptrend?
Yeah. No, no. Here's the thing, guys. I know a lot of people are going to throw out here and be like, well, why don't we go hard on it like we did on Solana? Or why don't we go when other cryptos have problems? Why don't, we start to lose trust? Why should we still trust Ethereum? It's a valid point. But here's the thing Ethereum, I don't, the expression too big to fail is a terrible expression to use in crypto, and I don't want to use it here. However, Ethereum is established, and it's going to take a lot more than a glitch like that to take it down. And just think about other companies, not to necessarily get ready to compare it to those levels, but has Amazon always had everything go perfect? Has Google always had everything go perfect? I've remembered several times I've gone to use Google and it's not working. So sometimes technology has glitches. Sometimes things fail. Never on this channel. We have been perfect 100%. No technical difficulties whatsoever. Someday Ethereum
Ever.
will be just like us. But it's one of those things that it's not actually correct. Like anyone who tries to compare Ethereum to smaller coins and say, well, if other coins mess up and we should lose trust in them, shouldn't we do the same for Ethereum? It's just not the same. Ethereum has such a head start on the rest of the altcoin space. It is so established. Things like this happen, and it's going to be okay. Ethereum is not going anywhere. I agree with Piper. The fact that the price didn't just like absolutely plummet shows that the people holding said, hey, this isn't a big deal to us.
yeah, and
Yeah.
crypto set guy said, "Is Army Piper ready to come to ADA to ADA?" It's my second largest bag, bro. ADA's my number two bag. So
Yeah.
There you go.
that's a quick shift
Yeah,
if I
I
need
see. I
to.
see. Shifting to chat real quick before we continue on. Some people are saying talk about when ADA network crashed, and King D said that ADA. Yeah, ADA's had problems too, and ADA's nowhere close to Ethereum. Like when an ADA had problems, you start to kind of question. You don't just put the nail in the coffin and say, "Oh, ADA's done," but you are like, "Hey, that's a serious problem." I wouldn't even compare at this point, even though a lot of us think that there's a good chance Cardano could give Ethereum a run for its money in the future. It is
Absolutely.
not right now. Cardano does not touch Ethereum's level right now. Also in chat, Crypto Seth gave a super chat. Thank you so much, Seth. He said, "Can't imagine life without the dynamic reactor." I'm right there with you, Seth. It is one of the best indicators I've ever seen. Some people wondering. I think King D asked, like, "Does it ever change if you change the sensitivity?" No, it doesn't. It's not perfectly like a moving average, but it's similar to a moving average. But what you do in the settings can't change the dynamic reactor. It is just that dynamic. So let's get back into the stories, though. Thank you, everyone in chat. Go ahead and keep asking questions. We'll try our best to engage with you guys as well throughout the show.
Yeah. All right. Well, this next one, it's not our second biggest story, but we're going to stay in the tech realm and go ahead and give Cardano a pat on the back as Cardano launches its first mainnet compatible Hydra node. Okay, so stay with us. If you're just here for price action, stay with us because technology is important, guys. You would want to know what you're investing in here. The development marks a significant step forward in Cardano's journey to boost its scalability and adoptability. Hydra, as defined by Cardano's parent company Input Output, is a family of layer 2 protocols designed to enhance the scalability of the Cardano blockchain. The protocol aims to facilitate faster and cheaper transactions, thus making the blockchain more adaptable for various use cases. I don't know how I feel about the characterization of Cardano's parent company being described as input output. I think that that's a little bit of a mischaracterization there. For you ADA purists, you may agree. But Piper, I want to throw it over to you. What are your thoughts on this? Is this going to give Ethereum a run for its money sooner rather than later? Is this a move in the right direction for for Cardano to one day overthrow and flip Ethereum? Are you impressed by this technology, or is it just another incremental movement that people can't really get excited about?
Bro, I'm very bullish on ADA, and I do think the time will come that ADA moves into the number one spot for layer one.
Wow.
I just don't think it's yet. That's why it's my number two bag. I mean, I
Mm,
ADA is moving its way towards handling higher TPS than Ethereum. Which, mind you, keep in mind that Ethereum will have sharding, which is going to start rolling out later on this year and become bigger and bigger. But I do believe that there's going to be like ADA is going to be MasterCard to Ethereum's Visa. I
Hmm.
absolutely believe that. So no, I mean every upgrade they do, they're getting closer to that. And when that time comes, then I'll probably be straddled 50-50, and we'll see where it goes from there on my ADA ETH bags. So yeah.
hmm.
Gotcha. And Tim, I know you're just hearing about Cardano, so we'll go ahead and skip
Yeah,
past you.
yeah,
No, just kidding.
very true.
So Tim, what are your thoughts here? Are you excited for the Hydra node here?
Yeah, yeah, I'm very excited. You guys know I love ADA. I love the vision. Part of what even attracted me in the beginning was what their vision to accomplish was, and they had a lot of hype. You know, they've had a lot of price action that I've been, as much as I love Cardano, I've been fair in saying I don't believe that Cardano should have ever been at $3 this last bull market. I think that was unrealistic and got so many people thinking very differently about Cardano than what it really is. But I do think it could be a very, very effective and I agree with Piper. I think it's a debate. I'm not ready to say it will top Ethereum, but I think that there's a debate to be had there that over the next couple of years we could see it at least be it close to it. And I'm different than Piper. I mean, Piper's saying I love it. It's my number two bag when it comes to altcoins. Guess what? Bitcoin's my number one bag. So I know Piper and I differ on that one, but it's not like I have a lot more Cardano than Ethereum. But my Cardano holding slightly outweighs my Ethereum holding for a couple of reasons. One, I really love what they're doing, but also just from a financial standpoint, I believe the gains that Cardano can have will outweigh Ethereum. And I don't apply that same rationale to Bitcoin. I'm keeping Bitcoin as my highest bag, even though it will probably bring me the least amount of returns. But just out of principle, from what Bitcoin is and long term, what I can trust, Bitcoin is there. But when you start moving to altcoins, guys, I actually have a bigger bag of Cardano than Ethereum, but I love both of them.
Tim, Tim, you need to switch principles for profits, bro.
Sometimes you got to have
you
a
can
mixture.
always you can always buy
Mixture.
Bitcoin down the road with all your profits.
All right. Well, speaking of
We'll
which,
see.
here's a man who's never switched principles for profits, and that's Jamie Dimon. This is going to be a two-parter here, guys. So bear with me. J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon says it's going to get worse for banks. He's got a couple of quotes here from an interview he did with Bloomberg. The more regulators and more rules is going to equal harder that it's going to be for the smaller banks. He's also said before introducing more regulations, existing regulations should be fine tuned. He said innovation is driven to other countries, the more regulation that's passed by the US. And now is the time to better understand why collapse and weakness exit, not just jump right into future regulation and control. So it's time to try to figure out why these banks are collapsing and why there's weakness in the regional banking industry rather than just to go ahead and regulate and control. I couldn't agree more with him on that last point, that's for sure. But he's also said it's going to get worse for banks. Now, I know what Tim is thinking. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but there's also a headline that says Jamie Dimon won't be buying any more failed banks. He says it's too much work. Diamond said Thursday that the acquisition has hidden costs, arguing it distracts the company from other operations and growth assets. They've had to deploy 800 people working around the clock to onboard what was it, First Republic, and 10,000 people have to be deployed to kind of onboard all the rest of its systems, the risk, the fraud, the credit payments, the branches, the actual real estate, technology, not to mention having to go to all those First Republic locations and tack up new signs with the Chase branding. So that is going to be kind of the place that we start off with this story. And Piper, I'll throw it to you because you're the one who felt like this was extremely important, and it is. What is this telling you? Does Jamie Dimon see something in the markets that others aren't? And should we heed his warning, or is this some posturing for Jamie Dimon to get the upper hand?
I don't think he's seeing stuff that other people don't see. I think I see it too. Banks are overextended. I think a lot more banks are going to have downside this year. As far as his statement about that he doesn't want to buy anymore, I think it's a very valid statement. But it could also we got to think how underhanded some of these snakes are, right? This could be his way of leveraging the government to give him more money to bail people out when the other banks start failing. Like, no, look, I told you guys I wasn't doing this anymore. It's very expensive. If you want me to do it, I need more than $50 billion. So
Mm.
there is another take you can look at that on, right? It's critical thinking, critical analysis, and critical reading. Is this just a months ahead move for him to get more money from the FDIC? So
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Well, Tim, what are your thoughts on this? Is Jamie Dimon just
Yeah.
trying to posture so that he can gobble up a bunch of more banks? Is he just speaking out of one side of his mouth here?
Yeah, so I want to start off by when you address news stories and you address anything like this, let's take a step back for a second and evaluate a couple of things. This whole topic is what the poll this morning is from. So if you guys haven't voted on that poll, go vote on it. I'll read it out loud to you guys. What I put in here this morning. Nope, don't want to end the poll. How much do you trust Jamie Dimon? I believe every word he says. 6% of you have said yes. Okay, interesting. 12% have said, kinda. The leader is not at all, 48%. And then the last one is treat him like a Jim Cramer signal. That was more for kicks and giggles. But why did I put that there? Because Jamie Dimon is a walking, talking liar. He's playing a game. Why is it important that we're even discussing this topic and we're discussing the banks and all? In case anyone is watching right now who's like, hey, this is supposed to be about crypto, I thought. Why are we talking about banks? Well, guess what? One of the biggest things that could contribute into money flowing into Bitcoin and into crypto is if there continues to be bank failures all over the place and people lose confidence in leaving their hard-earned money in the US dollar and in a banking system, where they're going to go with it. Well, Bitcoin and crypto are one of the places. So when you hear this, from my perspective, I don't think Jamie is lying about the fact that banks are going to continue crashing. That's not his lie, but he is lying somewhere. He is always playing a game. Jamie Dimon and J.P. Morgan are historically famous for telling their holders one thing and then doing the exact other. So whether it's what Piper is saying, is he trying to position himself with the government, and his lie right now is, oh, I'm not going to buy any more banks, but in reality, he fully plans to. That's one game he absolutely could be playing. We already know, in case anyone didn't, and again, you didn't know this, he already has found a way to twist one rule to where there was supposed to be a rule in place that no one bank can own more than 10% of pretty much the transactions that are going on. With their recent acquisition of, which bank was it that they just purchased? I can't remember the
First
name of it, but
Republic.
First Republic, with their
First Republic.
recent acquisition, they just topped 10%. He's convincing the government to change the rules already. So when he says, oh, it's too much work, I don't believe you, Jamie Dimon. I believe that you want to see your bank and other large banks form a kind of a monopoly to where there is no competition, there is no accountability. You can have full control over people, and that's all the more reason why I want to see people switch over into decentralized currencies like Bitcoin and crypto. So is that his lie? I don't think he's lying that banks are going to crash, but potentially, are we going to see things like what he's saying? It's going to shift a little bit? Are we going to see the banks actually seem to do a little bit better? I know Bill Noble talked about this on our show just a couple of weeks ago. I don't know the timeline of this, but he told us prepare for a summer. Everything's all right. Crypto crash and a Dixie or bank resume. There's gonna be FUD. There's gonna be FOMO. There's gonna be all this stuff playing. They're gonna play with emotions. They're gonna try to convince the American people that everything is okay. And then later on this fall, there's going to be a crash that is absolutely horrible for the banks, for the American system. So what game Jamie Dimon is playing and what he knows, we're not 100% certain. But what we can be certain of is the man is a walking, talking liar. You always know that he chooses his words specifically because he's playing and wants to steal your money. Don't give your money to him. Continue to look at other news and think critically for yourself. And best advice, invest in Bitcoin. He can't touch or take away your Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, we could go ahead and pivot into the market open here, and then come back to the stories. I'd like to do that if we could.
Yeah, let's do it.
Um, Yeah, so we've got let's do a little market open here, guys. Let's make sure that we're keeping on track with where money is rotating here in the first 9 minutes of the New York Open. Oil and natural gas both green, barely green, taking up 0.5% for natural gas and 0 for oil, is just unchanged on the session. There we go. Green across the screen for the indexes. They're about even too. Nasdaq is getting underbought relative to the S&P and the Dow Jones, which are both up exactly 0.26% there. Actually, kind of ironic. And moving on down into crypto, mixed. Your big names are down. Ethereum, Binance, and Bitcoin all down. Bitcoin down 2% here as I'm reading it, down to $26,417 per coin there for Bitcoin. And then Ethereum's is 1,773. All right, moving into the altcoins, though, you're seeing green on the screen. Optimism trying to make a comeback here has really been getting a haircut over there, up 3.5% here in the morning minutes. And Cake still coming down here, down 2.8%. But Lido making quite a comeback, up 9%. So a lot of volatility in the crypto markets here, guys. Hope you're wearing your seatbelt, staying strapped in. And if you are trading using stop losses, if you're investing, being confident, remaining confident in what you've invested in, or going ahead and pulling maybe what you're not confident in. All right, guys, look here at the metals. Gold is up. It's barely green, and silver is down about 1% there. And here is where the story gets interesting. Your mega cap tech stocks are mixed, with Google just barely green. None of the names really moving in one direction or another except Tesla. Tesla is up 2.5%, more than 2.5% this morning on some very big news that we will cover right after this. The bonds are, the bond yields are up barely across the board. So not a ton of movement. The bonds are being quiet this morning. Cannabis green, and then your mid cap tech stocks are mixed, with Hood, meaning Robinhood, leading the way lower. And then your big banks are pretty much undecided, but down about 0.4% on average there. And then your oil producers are up marginally, with Schellenberger leading higher, up 1.3%. All right, that's going to be your market open here, guys. I mean, it seems like kind of a lot of tepidity, a lot of waiting, and kind of not much movement here, and a lot of movement for Tesla. Let's get to why that is here in just a second. First, a big development over at MetaMask that is announcing that MetaMask is the first Web3 wallet to enable users to buy ETH using PayPal. So you can now do that. That is pretty interesting. That is a pretty big development. I don't know that we would really have any opinions on that, other than it's generally bullish, although PayPal's not everybody's favorite, that's for sure. But MetaMask feels comfortable partnering with them and bringing them closer into the Web3 hug that we are all a big part of, certainly over here at the Investing Bros. Well, let's get into the big, beefy, meaty, juicy story here of why Tesla is up. Twitter to get a new female CEO as Elon Musk moves over. So here we go, guys. This is the big one. Musk added that his role would transition to being executive chair and chief tech officer, overseeing product and software. The speculation wheels started turning with the Wall Street Journal, one of the first to have a stab at who might be the incoming CEO. On May 12th, today, the outlet reported that NBC Universal's head of advertising, Linda Yaccarino, is in the front running. I've got that highlighted because she has definitely not been named quite yet. Linda Yaccarino is the chairman of global advertising and partnerships at NBCU, where she has been for more than a decade. There she is. And here is another big headline kind of confirming it. NBC Universal ad chief Linda Yaccarino resigns. So that's pretty big. As sources say, she's in talks to be Twitter's CEO. There we go.
Oof.
Having fun this morning. And there she is. There she is, Linda. So let's go ahead and start with you, Tim. What are your thoughts on this? Have you heard anything about Linda, maybe that might give you some pause as to whether or not she's going to be a great CEO for Twitter?
Yeah, I don't know that much about her whatsoever. I saw in passing, though, and this requires a lot more research, and maybe people in chat can confirm or deny this, but supposedly she had affiliations with the World Forum, which is not a
World
good
Economic
sign.
Forum.
the World Economic Forum. Yeah, I cannot confirm that right now. I have not had enough time to go in and dig deeper into her past and what she's doing. You know what I just noticed right here? I just noticed little Donkey Kong chilling right here. That's a nice addition to the team. That distracted me for
Yeah.
a second. Anyway, so uh, if that's the case, it really makes you scratch your head for two reasons. First of all, here's what I think we will know. Elon is not going to hire someone that he is concerned will censor and get rid of the free speech platform that he has created, that is Twitter. So I think we can, at the end of the day, kind of rest on that knows if a CEO of Twitter ever did start censoring people again, they're going to lose their job very quickly. He still has the ability to go in and fire them immediately. We know Elon is not afraid of firing people whatsoever. So that's reassuring, but it makes you scratch your head of like, if this is true that that's who she is, and she does, I've seen other reports kind of saying she does kind of lean more left and kind of affiliates with that woke movement. It's like, why would she be even in consideration for this? You would think that Elon would want to stay as far away from that as possible, but I don't know that for fact. Maybe she's a very brilliant woman. Maybe those are false reports. Maybe she'll do a great job, or maybe everyone's getting this wrong and she's not even the front runner and that's just fake news. I don't know. We'll continue to address this as it comes out, but I think the thing I'm going to take away from this is Elon is not going to hire someone who will repeat the past mistakes. I'm not that worried about the future of Twitter.
All right. Uh, Piper, I kind of want to hear your thoughts, but I also have my take on this. So, Piper, what are you thinking here? Is this a good move from Elon, or is he making a mistake?
I have a sinking suspicion that he was told by his PR people that he needs to get reconnected back into where he's been cut out of, the ESG, all that stuff. And that in order to do that, he needs to make a move that is going to reconnect and rekindle those leftist connections that he had, which sadly you have to be back where he was. So maybe this is his subtle way of doing that. Even if it's just, maybe he even put the info out that, hey, she's in the front running here. Here's a little leak of info just to get him a little bit. I bet you he's got some big move coming. I really do. And this is probably him pre-positioning because he thinks 5 and 6 steps ahead, guys. 5 and 6
Yep.
steps ahead. So
Yeah. So so my take is I want to give Elon the benefit of the doubt here. In my mind, he's far and away a hero, right? I think if you look at kind of the facts on the ground here, what is Linda known for? She's been working over at NBC for a decade in the advertising department. I think it doesn't surprise me that Elon is concerned about the bottom line of his $44 billion investment in Twitter. He wants people to come back. He wants organizations, maybe organizations that have left boards, that have kind of woke boards or whatever, to come back and advertise on Twitter. I don't think it's going to be immediate, but I think if anybody's going to get the job done, it's probably someone who's been working at one of the biggest ad agencies in the world over at NBC, right, for a decade. So I think he's playing his cards on the money side. Whether or not that's going to tick left is we will see. But I mean, it's Elon Musk, right? I don't think he's going to let it get out of hand, and it's a very hard to ignore metric whether or not it does, because it's Twitter. People will very vocally and quickly comment. Joe Rogan and Ben Shapiro will very quickly comment if there's features that start to trend woke and trend left. My bet here, guys, is that there's not going to be a lot of change from a censorship standpoint. I think you're just going to see Twitter become more profitable. Not that that matters because it's not publicly traded anymore. I don't see her coming in and making a. I think it's going to be made very clear to her. Look, the new vision of Twitter is not to resort to what it was when it was failing, and shareholders were leaving left and right. This is a new Twitter. It's a new age, and we want to do X, Y, Z. What I'm more concerned about is I think that probably the focus is going to lose on crypto. I think that Elon is going to get caught up over at Tesla, which if you're a Tesla shareholder, you're very happy to see this happen. This is what Tesla has been needing. Tesla shareholders have been selling off because they have been fearful that Elon is not giving the automaker enough attention. Now that he's named a new CEO, it looks like is going to be coming in. Tesla shares are likely to go back and test that midline for the Bollinger Band on the monthly chart. So I'm optimistic. I think it's going to be fine, and we'll know pretty quickly if things are not going to go fine, because you have a lot of very competent and sophisticated commenters on the right that are watching this like hawks. Everybody's waiting for something to go wrong, and as soon as it does, we will know, and likely it'll just be like this Ethereum story. Something will happen, and it'll immediately get corrected, and business will go on as usual. I'm not worried about this. But we've got other stories here. Do you guys have any rebuttals? Do you think I'm wrong? And I
I
think
think
I think if they're
that I think that something on your screen says that you see woke people is what I think.
I think to the extent that she's associated with the World Economic Forum, I don't think that you're a major operator in corporate America, executive levels, executive teams, without being a part of the World Economic Forum. It's just the sad reality of the world we live in. So anyway, moving on. We've got some headlines to read here. I don't really feel like it's super important to get into the details of these, but I did want to bring you the headlines. Battle lines drawn. U.S. Chamber of Commerce sides with crypto industry against the SEC. There you go. There's a leader of the Chamber of Commerce fighting Gary Gensler, it looks like. So interesting move there. And the details are that basically they're putting some funding and resources behind the Coinbase lawsuit there. So, and then XRP, Ripple CEO Garlinghouse predicts SEC lawsuit resolution by the end of Q3 2023. So that actually, yeah, that could
I
be
don't think
pretty
that
big. That
deserved a
could happen.
blowhorn. Yeah.
That could be pretty big.
It's
But
bag number three. Bag number three.
either of these headlines jumping out at you as important, Tim or Piper, I'll just leave it open like that, as we've got about
Yeah.
9 minutes left here in the show.
I think it's nice to see the Chamber of Commerce, the United States, like the what do you call it, the whole country one. I guess the
national
chapter. It's nice to see them. I don't know to what degree that will affect anything, but it's nice to see another group come out saying the SEC sucks. Then you speaking of the SEC sucks with the XRP story. I'd love to see it, but I told you guys in the planning meeting, I don't know who else is feeling this way as well. I'm getting a little tired of predictions for the end of this lawsuit. Let's just get it ended. I'm not really paying attention to, because we've heard a couple more weeks. Oh, 1 more year. Oh, the end of Q3. Oh, it's just like just freaking end it. Just win the case, XRP, and so we all can move on with our lives and our XRP bags can climb. I'm excited about XRP. Nothing of what I just said is against XRP. I'm just tired of the predictions of when it's going to end, because not a single one of them have come true. It's just kicking it down the road. Piper, you have any thoughts?
We know it will end eventually, though.
Someday.
And so that's what I'm prepping for.
Yeah.
Every time they can keep giving me my hopium, and I will eat it, spoonfuls of it, Tim. Give me my hopium. We did have a super chat from Elliot Locke.
We did.
Yep. You want to go ahead and take care of that one?
Yes. So first of all, shout out to Elliot Locke. We love you, Elliot. He said, if I were to want to DCA into tech stocks, which would be a good start? Looking at Microsoft, MicroStrategy, Apple, and Amazon. Non-financial advice. Piper, awesome win, and looking forward to seeing you on Around the Blockchain again. Real quick, I'll go ahead and answer him, T Shroom. But speaking of community, I want to do something here that we might start making normal on the show, and kind of just take a community look and see how our community is growing and what's happening. But T Shroom, what do you think of his suggestions, his thoughts? MicroStrategy, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, anything you would take away or add to that list for a good start to tech industry investment?
I would be very hesitant to get into MicroStrategy in that list, because more than likely, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you're overexposed or adequately exposed to Bitcoin. And MicroStrategy is a very big holder of Bitcoin. I would just leave it at that. As from a business operation standpoint, they're profitable. They're a good company. But if you're looking to get into American tech companies, MicroStrategy would not be on my top 10 list. Okay, so
hey, T-Shroom,
I think
pause real quick. From here on out, when we get questions like this and it's your turn to answer, I want to hear Dave Ramsey give the response. So let's give this over. What would Dave Ramsey say to Elliot Locke right now?
over 100-year span, the American stock market has not lost money. Okay, if you've been an investor and you've put your money in and you haven't sold, I need to zoom out a little bit. You are not
Yeah.
losing money. Okay, you're an idiot if you're taking money out of your 401k. If you're invested in American tech, you're an idiot. Okay, so that's pretty good. But to give you an answer, I'd say probably I would be buying here Google. Okay, I'd be buying Amazon. I would not be buying Meta, Microsoft, or Apple because they are overbought at this point, heading into their premium levels in the Chart Prime daily chart range. Okay, but what I would say is that Amazon is underbought. Okay, Google is close, is kind of in the middle there. I'd say it's still a buy, right? Uh, and there's a lot of other good tech companies lower on the risk curve, out on the risk curve, as Caleb Franzen might say. Okay, you've got your Coinbase, right? And you've got your Robinhood. Those are companies that are probably going to do pretty well in the next 5 years. So you're an idiot if you don't listen to my advice.
It's pretty good, T-Shrew. That's pretty good. Hey, Brino Silva said ALB is the ticker, Albemarle. He said it should be on your big cap, I think he said earlier. And then he also said it's really exposed to Elon Musk. Add that to the watch list. So that's something you might want to check out there later on. Yep. And then Crypto
ALB.
Trade said, how much should Cardano be, Tim? Because earlier you said it's not worth as much as it should be right now. How much do you think Cardano should be worth?
No, I think Cardano at the moment sitting at 36 cents is undervalued. But I'm saying when we got to $3, Cardano should not have been at $3. I don't know what it really should have been. I would have said maybe $2, maybe a little higher than $2 in reality is where Cardano probably should have stopped out at. But there was such a momentum train with Cardano in this last bull market that it just kept going and kept going. And like what happens, and again, not trying to compare what they're doing with meme coins, but in the same way meme coins can just go parabolic for no reason whatsoever. Obviously, that's fresh in everyone's brain. We're watching that happen over the last week or so. Cardano had a little bit of a meme run that it didn't deserve that. Now, because you had a run like that on Cardano and it wasn't quite ready to back up the fact that it wasn't ready to be worth $3. So a lot of people sold and it kind of had a massive overreaction falling as low as it does right now. Like in reality, I think Cardano right now should probably be closer to $1. And in the next bull market, watch Cardano just take over from a technological standpoint and just accomplish a good amount. It will be it'll be worth every penny of $8 to $10 in this next bull market. But it wasn't ready for $3 this last one, and we're suffering the consequences of that now. With that said, though, before we wrap it up, though, because we have a couple minutes left here, I want to start doing this from here on out. We'll probably do like this in the promo section. But I want to start off telling you guys where the community is, because last night we saw full-fledged how amazing this Investing Bros community is. The massive support for Piper over there on around the blockchain was amazing. We're taking over the space, guys. Even though we're a small channel, go ahead and share my screen here, Piper. We're sitting at the moment at 3,245 subscribers. We have a goal, guys, here by the end of June. We want to get that 4,000 subscriber level. So help us out. But let's take a couple look at some other things, because it's not just YouTube that we have this. You guys see this is beautiful. Our little bro cam right here. By the way, 90 watching with 67 likes. That's not a good ratio, guys. Come on, let's smash that like button. But let's take a look at a couple things here. Over our free Discord, you guys need to be joining this Discord. We have almost 200 members. I think literally by the end of this episode, now that we're bringing this up, go join, accept the invite. This is amazing Discord. You guys get a lot of behind the scenes things, conversations, amazing community discussion. Get us over 200 today. You don't want to miss out on that. Twitter, when it comes to Twitter, guys, we got Investing Bros channel. We got to get this one. We're 2 away from 200 over here on Twitter. Let's get this to 1,000 here by the end of June. Should not be a problem whatsoever. Speaking of other Twitters here, we got my Twitter, which is very volatile. Bots definitely affected me. At one point, I was sitting at like 13,000, but of course, a lot of those were bots. I'm sitting right now at 8,300. If you do not follow me on Twitter, go ahead and follow me. Who else we have? T-Shroom. Where's T-Shroom sitting on Twitter? 4,500 rookie numbers. Let's get him over 5,000 today. go smash the follow button for T-Shroom as well. And Piper, where's Piper sitting at? over
Don't
here on
call
Twitter?
his numbers rookie numbers, dude. Come on now.
Okay, this is this if T-Shrooms was rookie numbers, this is still in the room numbers. We need to get Piper above 1,000 here very, very quickly. You got some great stuff happening on all of our Twitter pages. You guys need to be following all of them just to continue to support the channel. If you guys don't have a Chart Prime by this point too, and you haven't used this link right here where you get 45% off, you guys watch us use this TA every single day. It is phenomenal. It has changed the way I do TA. You guys know I love my fundamentals, but this is absolutely crazy. Go back to my face here, Piper. Our community is taking off. And if you guys are wondering, man, how do we get this community to keep going bigger and bigger and bigger? Everything we just went over, make sure you're a part of all of it, because this space and what we're doing with Investing Bros in this next bull market is going to be something special. And you guys are an integral part of that growth as well. I told you guys this yesterday, but when we say we want to be known as the most generous YouTube channel in all of crypto YouTube, that's not just something we're saying with our mouth. Every single dollar that you guys give, if you want to join our Patreon, if you guys want to give super chats, we might even do some stuff with YouTube membership here soon to engage more with you there. I want you guys to know not a single dollar goes to my pocket or T-Shroom's pocket or Piper's pocket. We all are doing things outside
Piper
of
don't get
this
paid from anywhere.
we're paying the bills other ways, but what we're doing, every dollar you guys give here in one way or another is 20% of it is going right back out to charity, because we believe that crypto can actually make a difference in this world, and we want to prove it. And then the other 80%, it is going to production value, to equipment we have to purchase, and our goal to produce more content, more educational content to keep you guys up to knowledge and everything you need. We want to hire a full-time editor to produce more stuff. So if that's something you guys want to see from the Investing Bros, please, please, please continue to play a massive role in making sure this community grows more and more each and every single day. We love all of you guys. It is 10 o'clock. It's time to wrap it out. This is the Friday show, which means we will not see you again until Monday. T-Shroom and Piper will be running the show. It's going to be amazing. We love each and every single last one of you guys. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.